Hi guys, okay, so this week I've got a quick video on how to do quick and easy scars. If you're anything like me and you don't really know what you're doing with this stuff's so easy and it looks awesome. Okay, so to start off with, you just basically want to get any sort of lip liner or red pencil and mark out where you want your scar. Oh, good job. Just map it out so you have a rough idea of where you're actually going with your scar. I thought I'd just use my hand as it was more of a test to see that I was okay with it as well. So what you want to do next, once you've got your line, you just, depending on how bright you want your scar to look, I wanted mine to look like it's been there a little while, so I've just sort of blended out the lines a little bit. But if you want it to look really raw and you're adding extra blood and stuff, I'd just leave it as red as it comes out initially. Okay, so now that you're all mapped out, you want to take this magical stuff called rigid collodion, and I'll be honest, it does have a bit of a stench to it, but if you're not doing it on your face, it shouldn't be a problem. I'd just avoid your eyes and your nose because I don't think it would be that pleasant. It's clear, which is why I use the liner to make things a little bit easier in terms of where you're going with it. You want to just do a couple of little thin coats and leave them to dry off. This stuff's super cheap. It's about £7 on Amazon and it came really quickly. You can get it in some fancy dress shops and things like that. It's worth just looking around, but it's awesome stuff. I gave it a bit of a helping hand drying because I'm just really impatient at times. But you can actually see that as it's drying, it's pulling the skin tighter and giving it the effect that it's sunk in. Ignore my neighbours. So yeah, I went ahead and gave it another coat because I wanted it to look quite gnarly and it just wasn't pulling in tight enough yet. I've decided as well to sort of build it up in one area so that it wasn't all one level scar. It looked as though parts of it had been deeper at one point, so yeah, just sort of building it up in that one area more than the rest of it. Once you're happy with how deep your scar is, you want to just go ahead and put any kind of powder on it, or you can use talcum powder because it's quite shiny and it just sort of takes the glossy edge off it a little bit. But be careful when doing this not to rub in circular motion because it will peel the edges off, as this stuff just peels straight off. Here I've got two sponges and this is to make my bruising effect. I use the Ben 9 zombie wheel. With your little sponges you just want to pull various sizes of holes into the sponges, so I've got one with bigger and one with some smaller little holes in it. Just makes everything look a bit more natural. I start off using the yellow to make sort of the edges of the bruise. I like to start and work my way in because when you get a bruise it kind of gets, the edge of it gets a bit of like a yellowy tinge to it, so you want to start off by just planning out where you want your bruise to go really. Next I take the dark blue, it's like a navy blue, and I used the one with the smaller holes in, the sponge with the smaller holes, and you just want to sort of dab it on rather than blend it, and this just makes it look like you've got a few broken blood vessels and things like that. So you want to make that closer to the scar so that it looks a bit more sore and tender in that area. I decided that the actual scar bit was just a little bit too plain, so I took the dark burgundy red colour from the wheel and added that right to the centre, almost on top of the scar, which would be the most sore area out of all of it. It's just a case of gradually building up the colour and going as bruised or as faded as you like. So I felt as though I wanted to add a bit of like a dead tone to it, so I added some green and some yellow together, and again I went on the outer edges so it looked like it's sort of an aging bruise. For some reason my camera starts moving by itself. Weird. Yeah, so next I take the dark red and the purple again to just sort of add to that bruising right on top of the scar. I'm pretty sure I didn't put... oh, there we go. Yeah, so you just want to add that again closest to the scar. You can see that with putting the holes in, it doesn't make it quite so uniform, and you get the little line effect where you can see all the broken blood vessels. Because bruises aren't perfect. So again, I'm going in with the dark red because I want to sort of spread that around into the actual scar area. So I used the small side of the sponge just to brighten up the actual scar a bit. I decided that at this point I wanted to try and sink the scar in a little bit more with the makeup on to really pull the dark colours in together, and that really helped with the overall look in the end. I was quite pleased with it. You can basically go as grotesque or as simple as you like with this. I'd basically just recommend that in between each layer you give it that time to dry. So there you have it, the final look. Some fabulous acting on my part. Yeah, it was really quick and easy. This is pretty much in real time, so about 10 minutes I would say to get this done, and there's just so many possibilities you can do with this. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye guys. It's okay to sit where shit hurts. Don't forget your dreams, 'cause they'll get